It's hard to believe that this beautiful tiny home community in upstate New York started out as a deserted, overgrown piece of land and was transformed into this one-of-a-kind European hillside village by one man with a big vision.
One person can be a spark plug.
Today, people are moving to this Seneca Lake hillside oasis.
I love that because it's affordable.
From major cities all over the country, seeking out a different way of life.
I love it up here.
When I heard that the very same builder behind this colorful tiny home community had transformed yet another piece of raw land into something this spectacular, I knew I had to see it for myself. Let's dive in.
Hi, Bruno. To see you again.
You wanted winter, you got winter.
We sure got snow early, huh? This is stunning.
Yeah, pretty amazing, huh? It's those three houses right up there, those yellow ones. First three. So I started at the top building and I worked my way to the bottom. That was essentially 9 years ago.
Look at the views at this place.
This is really amazing.
Wow, and there are breweries, distilleries, wineries all down this road.
I always wanted to design and build a little European hillside village. And so I looked for a site that was steep enough so that when you're at some houses, you can look over and beyond the houses in front of you.
Still pet friendly here, I see.
Oh yeah, you want to be able to see between and around and under and over the houses that are down below you. And so it's a little bit of a jumbled mess in a certain sense, but that's the charm of a European hillside village.
I thought the views couldn't get any better, but down here you see the whole lake, you see the trees across, you have the tiny little colorful cottages in the view. It's a pretty beautiful place to live.
The property goes down to 200 feet from the lake, which is about another quarter mile down the hill. And I have the septics below there, and then I have just heavy woods down below there.
Where do you think I should go next? I read all your comments, so please drop your recommendation in the comments. Clearly, this entire community was planned and executed with an expert-like precision. But even Bruno makes mistakes sometimes.
Doesn't get a view because I didn't hip the roof.
Aw, Bruno, come on, you know better.
I know, it was a complete failure. I was able to open it up and I created a little bit of a village square, if you will. I wanted some level area on the site where people could gather. Kids wanted to play kickball or something. They had one little spot where the ball wouldn't go rolling down the hill into the lake. It's warm too, we can warm up. This is what I call my petite cottage. People really love the really small houses. Instead of 1,000 square feet, this is about 700 square feet. And so you have a kitchen, dining, a little dining area, a living room, a bedroom back there, a bathroom, and then upstairs, I have another bedroom and a loft.
Time to go upstairs, see what the loft is like. Oh, it's big up here.
It is big.
Oh, and you've got the French doors opening out with the view of the lake. I love it up here. There's another little bedroom in here. Wow, so this is a 3-bedroom.
And one of the things that I try to do is use very authentic materials. These are plastered walls. It's actually joint compound and sand over the drywall. You know, this is just knotty pine trim that it's very cost effective but it's very durable. And the floors are pine planks. So the same material I use for the floors is what I use for the trim. So I use materials that are relatively inexpensive, but I use them to really great effect. I embrace the imperfections, basically. The rough side, that pine, I buy a foot wide, random lengths. It's rough on one side, it's smooth on the other. So inside I use it with the smooth side out, and on the outside I use it for trim with the rough side out because it really takes stain really, really well.
The The answer to what is it like living in a tiny home community in upstate New York in the winter is that it is still cold. It's very, very cold. It must get kind of slippery in the winter because it's steep.
Well, we aggressively have to salt the lane coming down in, and we plow it, you know, we stay on top of it, basically. Part of the secret sauce, if you will, is you have to have the houses close together. It really, it makes them better, it does not make them worse.
I love the look of this cottage castle. It's so cute.
Want to go into it?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Just couldn't remember the code. There we go.
Oh, so this is the Airbnb.
This is the Airbnb, yep.
It's beautiful. Oh, those views out the window. So we've got a little bedroom down here, private bathroom.
Every village needs a tower.
Now that's a beautiful spot to have a glass of wine or read a book. Another bedroom. That's a cool Airbnb. Did you just start it recently?
No, we started it a few years ago. I don't prefer the Airbnb business. This is the only Airbnb we have here. It's just not what I like to do.
The sense of community that I get from living up here is one of my favorite parts of living in upstate New York. If you want to hear more about local events and ways that you can get involved each month, sign up for my email newsletter with the link down below. And now, back to the video. After the tour, I sat down with Bruno to hear more about how he was able to visualize, design, and construct such a unique community.
You bought this as raw land, correct?
Oh yeah. You know, I had started over in Brooktondale. I built the Boyceville cottages. And that experience made me want to build a little European hillside village.
So if somebody is looking to buy raw land to do something like this, what are some of the things you would look for?
I specifically was looking for a piece of property that did not have any zoning. It's relatively rare, but it's not in upstate New York. It's not unheard of. And I found this piece of land that was for sale, had been for sale quite a while. This was probably in 2014, I think.
Sure.
12, 13 years ago when I purchased this was around $15,000 an acre. And I bought 16, a little better than 16 acres of land. So I bought it and then, went to work. There's septic regulations, there's water regulations, there's storm sewer regulations. You know, we really started construction in probably August, September of 2016. And then on November 10th, we poured the first 3 foundations and the maintenance garage foundation. Following June, we had people moving in. So it took about 9 months.
That seems fast.
It was, we were humping. we were working hard.
Winter in upstate New York. Be real with me. What is it really like being here in the winter, especially on the lake? Are you getting the lake effect? Does it get cold here?
It gets real cold here. I mean, the coldest I've witnessed personally was in my truck was 22 degrees below zero. That day I pulled my door handle and I snapped my door handle right off the truck. It was that cold. One of the secrets is to keep things close. So I devised a question to ask myself. If I make this bigger, or I make this more expensive, or if I add another 2 feet of cabinetry, can I get $1 more in rent? And oftentimes, the answer is no. Now, adding an additional bathroom or adding another bedroom, those things make a difference. So the petite cottage is the smallest cottage I make here, and it's basically about 700 square feet. 1 bedroom with a big loft upstairs. But the rent for the petite cottage is like $16.95 a month, plus utilities. Utilities with electric and gas would probably total On average throughout the year, it'd be maybe $120, $130 a month.
Very affordable.
For the smallest house, okay? And they go up from there. So, you know, I have what I call the classic cottage, which is about 1,000 square feet, and they rent for around $19.95, and some of them a little bit more. And then I have what I call the Le Grand, which is even a little bigger. These are around 1,200 square feet. They have 2 bedrooms plus a loft, but they have an additional bathroom upstairs as well as dormers. They start at around $23.95 and go up from there.
Do you think there is still opportunity and demand for these tiny home communities? And if so, where would you focus? What advice would you give somebody that wants to do what you're doing?
I'm not aware of hardly anybody in the country that's doing anything similar to this. The demand is enormous. People love living here. I think this concept would work anywhere in the country. The biggest challenge is going to be getting land that's inexpensive enough to make it make sense economically.
All right, time to brave the cold again, to go talk to some people who live here and see what they think about living here. Because I don't want to just take Bruno's word for it. He might be a little biased. Hi! So pretty in here. How long have you lived here?
A little over a year.
Oh, nice. Think you'll be here a while?
Yeah, we hope so.
What's your favorite part about living here?
The view. At least a couple times a week, I just stare out the window and I go to my husband. I'm like, we live here. He's like, I know. We call pod, like our little pod of houses. Our neighbors are really great. We put together like all sorts of community things like potlucks and Halloween party. For us, moving from the city, it's not isolating, because when we told our families we were moving, they were like, what? Like you're moving to the middle of nowhere? I'm like, no. There's community, but also it's quiet, it's peaceful. Like you still have the country, but there's still a ton of stuff to do. It does seem though like people do drive for work around here. Like my commute is an hour and 10 minutes.
Wow.
But I mean, that was by choice. I work over in Aurora, which is on the eastern side of Cayuga Lake, which is directly to the east. I don't mind it. Sean works from home, so he doesn't, which is nice because of our pup. So he
Pepper?
Yeah. Say hi.
Pepper, you're the cutest ever.
As much as I hated to have to part with Pepper, it was time to talk to some more residents. Another couple who had also moved here from the city.
We moved there from New York City, and I went to Cornell, and I always liked the area, so we came back here.
How long have you guys been married?
Oh, well, about 35 years, something like that. He doesn't like to keep track, so he wants to pretend we just met. It's fun.
Did you guys have to downsize a lot when you moved?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah. But that was good. It's good to get rid of stuff.
In case you couldn't tell by looking at their artfully decorated home, these are definitely the creative type.
I still work for them part-time. I do drama, so I still do plays. Yeah,
You are
I still
looking
do.
at a theater kid from high school. So I'm your
okay.
people.
Yep.
An Ithaca High School drama teacher and an author.
I specialize in books that nobody reads.
And what's your favorite part about living here so far?
Probably the proximity to the lake. It's so wonderful to be able to see the lake. Yeah.
What about you? What's your favorite part of living here?
Well, it's unique. It's different. It's aesthetically pleasing. It makes me smile. When you look at apartments, no matter what you're paying for them, they're all so generic.
I think more of a storm is rolling in, so it's time for me to get out of here. I didn't think it was possible, but I do think that this community is even more beautiful than the cottages that I saw this summer. And even in the winter, those views of the lake are beautiful. The community feels warm and friendly and just feels like a much better alternative to living in a great big house in a neighborhood all by yourself, basically, where you don't see people, you don't know your neighbors. So this is a great spot. Once again, Bruno.